Alright everyone, a lot of people have been asking for Mr. Terry Bogard here, and so with my trusty Fatal Fury hat, I will go ahead and show you how to play Mr. Southtown himself. Terry is a lot better than people give him credit for, quite honestly, but he does require a really good knowledge of his special moves and his normals before you can play him super effectively. If you try to play hyper offensive, there's other characters that are usually a little bit better than Terry is at it, but Terry is good at the opposite. Terry is good at baiting the opponent's offense and doing a few things on defense that other characters can't do, and his special moves emphasize that. But let me go ahead and get into his normals, and then we'll get into all the good juicy stuff. Okay, so let's start with the standing normals. His standing A. Okay. Good. Notice how far the jab sticks out in front of his front foot. This is one of the better standing jabs for anti-airs in the game. Okay, but in addition to his standing jab being a good anti-air, his standing fierce reaches even further and is really fast. If you're familiar with King, you know how King's standing hard punch starts up really fast and reaches really far? This isn't that fast, but it's still really good, and you can use it as you can use it almost exactly the same as King can. You can use it as a reaction anti-air and to occupy the space in front of you whenever you need a good quick poke. Okay? Standing hard kick more or less hits the same spot as Terry's standing hard punch, but it's a little slower to come out. Okay? So I honestly don't use standing hard kick a whole lot. Plus it whiffs on a lot of people like that are crouching and such. I honestly don't use standing hard kick a whole lot, but it is a feasible anti-air. And standing light kick actually has a really good range on it and is one of your best pressure tools. Okay, you can almost use standing B like this, just to really annoy someone and try to see if they'll hit a button or do something else. And you can actually combo one or two things off of a standing short, which makes it actually feasible as a combo tool. Okay. As far as close normals go, he does have a close hard kick and a close hard punch. And keep in mind, just as I have done with all the other characters, there's a link to the KOF13 frame data that we do have available. I'm pulling that up right now. Make sure when you do pull up the frame data, it's a Google document, it's a big spreadsheet. At the bottom of the spreadsheet is a list of names. You click on the name of the character you want, and then the appropriate data should show up. Now, as far as Terry Bogard is concerned, I do believe his close hard punch is better. Okay, and when I say better, I just mean faster. His close hard punch actually hits twice. This gives you extra time to confirm, okay? Both of these hits are cancelable. Okay, so you could cancel just the first hit or the second hit, and this includes into command normals. You could cancel the first hit to a command normal, or... Oh no! Or you could cancel the second hit to a command normal. Okay, so his close C is a really good confirming tool because it's really fast and it's really useful in that sense. And yes, close hard punch is 5 frame startup and close hard kick is 6 frame startup. So hard punch is faster. Okay, but these are both really good frame trapping tools, and in both cases they are both cancelable and can both go into command normals. Into cooler stuff. Yo, bud! Alright. Let's see, what else? Standing CD. Terry's is actually one of the most forward-moving ones in the game. Let's see, so if you're at a range, like where standing C and standing D just barely miss, the standing CD reaches just a hair beyond. Let's see here. So I'm going to backdash and take a step back. Hard kick misses. Backdash, step back. CD still reaches, okay? So CD is your longest range ground poke, okay? And because of how far it reaches, it's really excellent at corner pressure, especially after a ground string, okay? If you're mixing up your strings and then you throw a standing CD at the end of it, it's going to be very tough for your opponent to react to and to avoid. And if you mix this up with re-hop pressure and run-up pressure, this forms the basis of his standing offense, okay? Standing CD is an important tool in both his corner pressure and in general in his offense, okay? And just like all the other standing CDs, it's whiff cancelable on hit, and cancelable on block, and grants a combo on counter hit. Whew! Alright. Next we have his crouching normals. Okay. Crouching wise, his crouching A is decent. It easily chains and combos to itself. Okay. So you could just use crouching jabs if you like. His crouching light kicks are the same, also chain into themselves. Okay. And you can chain back and forth between them. Okay. So you can easily do whichever crouching lights you would prefer. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Now his crouching hard punch has better reach than the light punch. Just barely. Just barely. Okay. Let's see, let me turn off the counter hit here. Okay, but, let's see, point guard. As far as cancelability goes, by the way, crouching light punch is cancelable, but crouching light kick is not. Crouching hard punch is cancelable and is going to grant you a lot of combos. Okay. You can definitely combo all sorts of things from the crouching hard punch, and so it's going to be one of your main combo tools. Okay. His crouching hard kick reaches quite a bit further than his crouching hard punch, actually. Like when his crouching hard punch is like a million miles away right here, the crouching hard kick will still connect. Okay. So if they're just outside of your crouch hard punch range, the crouch hard kick will connect, and the crouch hard kick is cancelable as well. So if you're really confident that it's going to hit, you have a couple of different ways of following it up, and this includes on block. Okay, so be creative with what you cancel crouching hard kick into. As long as you don't do the unsafe things too often, you can use it to try to maintain pressure and to throw off your opponent's game. Okay. It also should be said that crouching hard kick, in Terry's case, just the same as in Andy's case, actually, it's a semi-serviceable anti-air. Andy's is way better, okay, by the way. But if they hop at you and they land on about the tip of your foot, wow, bad example. If they land on about the tip of your foot, this is actually a decent anti-air. It's really going to depend, just like with a lot of the crouching hard punches, just like with every other anti-air in the game, it's going to depend on the spacing and the timing, but this is actually semi-workable. I would honestly rather just hit standing hard punch, but it's another option for you. Just hit standing hard punch, it's going to be better. Okay, what else? Crouching normals, let's see. Next would be jumping normals. Okay, his jumping light punch you honestly don't see a lot of. Judo chop. It's pretty small. I honestly don't use it a whole lot, but hey, it crosses up, so what do you know? So I come up with a cool setup for that, because you can totally fool somebody with this little chop here. Oddly enough, his jumping hard punch also crosses up. Heyo. Okay, so there's quite a few things that you can. He has quite a few cross-up options, quite honestly. Jumping hard punch, jumping hard kick also crosses up, and I'm pretty sure the light kick does not, which is ironic because if this was Street Fighter, this would totally cross up. Yeah, I can't get the light kick to cross up. I'm pretty sure it's not possible, but other than that, his jumping light punch, hard kick can all cross up. The CD can't either, okay? But as far as these go, you do have 3 cross-ups, so you have some room to play with those. Now, as far as the actual air-to-ground, air-to-air stuff, okay? His best overall jumping normal, I would say, is going to be jumping hard kick, okay? If you're going to jump in on somebody from the air to the ground, jumping hard kick has the lowest angle, okay? Jumping light punch has a downwards angle, but because his hand is up here compared to his feet, it's honestly... like you could work it, but it's based on your style. Hard kick is going to be a little bit more reliable air to ground. Okay. Okay. Now, if you were to hit hard punch, that has a good angle on it. But let's just compare. Okay. I'm going to hit the hard kick and the hard punch at the very top of a hop. Okay. Okay. Notice where Terry's foot is when you hit a hard kick at the very top of a hop. It's at the other Terry Bogart's face, right? Now, if you were to hit hard punch at the same height, as you can plainly see, the punch is a little higher than the other Terry's face. And so what this means is if you hit a hard punch and a hard kick at the same time in the air, the hard kick is just lower, so it's more likely to hit someone on the ground. The hard kick is going to be overall your best air-to-ground jump in, okay? The jumping CD has a very, very high angle on it, and in fact, if they crouch this, it whiffs on almost everyone in the game. Okay, so with that said, if your opponent is crouching a lot, do not jump in with CD because you could get anti-aired and get destroyed. Okay, CD is one of your better air-to-airs. As far as the angle on it, it does a good job at protecting you. Okay, but jumping light kick is also a very, very good air-to-air as well. Sticks out horizontally and is active for a long time. Okay, jumping hard punch is also pretty good at air-to-air because it's also because of the angle on it. But usually if I'm looking to air-to-air with Terry, I either hit light kick or CD. And when I'm looking to jump in with Terry, more than likely I'm going to hit hard kick. If I'm feeling adventurous, I might hit the hard punch. Whew! Alright. Let's see. So, next, let's see. Normal throw, we got Buster Throw. Okay? If you're not familiar with passive move means that if they can quick recover, that they will. So let's set them to stay in one-hit guard here. See that quick recovery? That's what passive move does. Now, you'll notice on Terry's normal throw, the dummy does not quick recover. This is one of the better normal throws in the game. You get really, really nasty cross-up stuff off of this. Okay? You just run forward and super jump at the right spot, and you got a little nice handy-dandy cross-up. Use different normals for maximum effect. Also, don't forget about trying it from a hyper hop. You can absolutely get it, the cross-up, from a hyper hop if you time it perfect. Woo! Okay, so if you do land a normal throw with Terry, you get a pretty good opportunity to deal a mix-up, okay? At least at the basic level, okay? And don't forget about empty jump lows as well. Normal throws that don't have techable knockdowns are really, really excellent at setting up mix-ups. How away! Alright. Next we have his command normals, rising upper and back knuckle. So first let's start with down forward hard punch. This reaches really high in the air, and it's very similar to a lot of characters crouching hard punch, Mexican uppercuts, if you will. They reach straight up, and this is actually a pretty good anti-air. The issue is that it's a down forward input. So if you're holding down back and you want to anti-air, you kind of have to quickly go to down forward like this. I honestly think if you're a beginning Terry player, don't worry about anti-airing with this too much. It's nice to anti-air with, because it lets you anti-air from a crouch without doing the rising tackle, which is something I'll get to. It's probably going to be your most consistent anti-air, the rising tackle is. But if you want to stay crouching in anti-air, down forward hard punch is there for you. But honestly, what you'll find is less of a risk at higher level. It's just to back up and hit hard punch. Hard punch is going to be your best normal as an anti-air most of the time, but I want to give a special shout out to this command normal. Okay, this command normal, it reaches just higher. This has the opportunity of catching super jumps, for example. Okay, this reaches really, really high. Okay, it's also really quick on startup, and because of that, because of how quick on startup it is, it tends to beat a lot of things. Okay. Okay. No! Alright, so it's probably going to trade or win in a lot of situations. Now, if you're in someone's face, if you hit them with the first part of the move before his arm really comes up, right there, then that is actually cancelable. Okay? And this is going to be the crux of your bread and butter combos. Remember how I said the close hard punch hits twice? You can chain the second hit of that into the down forward hard punch, and then cancel that into your various special moves that combo. How away! How away! Whew! Alright. Let's see, back knuckle. This is a normal that more Terrys should be using. So say you're right here. Look how far away I am from that other Terry player. If he were to jump, I can, meet him in the air with jump hard punch, jump CD, standing C, but I'm out of range of standing CD, correct? Remember how I said standing CD is his farthest reaching ground normal? Well, actually, I'm wrong. It's actually forward light punch, okay? This normal has a really good reach on it, and so if you're at half screen, even if you're like almost at 2/3 screen, you can run forward and hit forward light punch and really, really annoy your opponent with this. Now, it's really slow on startup compared to his other moves, so if you're going to run at your opponent, you might consider hopping at them, you might consider a running CD, okay? You might consider a running hard punch. But a running forward A is another option because it lets you hit the button from further away, and if they jump, if they hop and don't full jump, there's a good chance this is going to catch. Forward A is actually a better preemptive anti-air than it seems to be because of its range, okay? Okay? If you're trying to predict that your opponent might hop, stick a forward A out, at the moment where you want to, preempt that hop, and there's a good chance you're going to catch something, okay? Now, the only downside to forward A, even though you can chain into it from other normals, like this, even though you can do that, it's not cancelable, okay? You can't cancel this into special moves. Okay? There's no special move or super you can do. Okay? There's nothing you can do there. Not even a Neomax, okay? So, it's not the normal you're going to be chaining into most of the time. However, as a normal goes, it does more damage than down forward hard punch. So when we get to HD combos, you'll notice, even though you could start like a bread and butter combo like this all the time, with close C into down forward C, you'll find that in HD combos, you're going to use forward A because it does just a little bit more damage. Woo! Okay, it does a little bit more damage, but if you were unaware, in HD mode, every single normal is cancelable now. Okay, I'll probably do a video on Hyperdrive mode just to cover it more generally, so I'm not doing it all in these character videos. But that's something that you'll just want to know as you play Terry. That's what the forward A is for. Now, next I'm going to get into his special moves. First, we've got the Power Wave. Power Wave. Power Wave. Power Wave. Okay, so there are 3 power waves. We got light and hard. Start with that. The first thing you want to notice is that the light punch version travels all the way across the screen. Okay, the fierce one does not. Okay, notice that the fierce one doesn't go. It goes about half the screen, then it starts to fizzle out. So the maximum range of it, a little back here. The maximum range of it is a little bit beyond the round start, okay? And they both do 60 damage, as you can see. But there is a major difference. Notice on the light one that it just does 60 damage. But the fierce one does 60 damage and knocks down, okay? Okay. The other thing you want to keep in mind is the recovery of the moves. Okay, the Terry on the right is doing the light one, and the Terry on the left is doing the fierce one. Okay, notice that the Terry on the right recovers much faster. The light power wave starts up fast and recovers really fast, whereas the fierce power wave has more recovery on it, and this is because of its ability to knock down. Okay, so it's not as good on block. They're both honestly not that good on block to begin with. Wait, did I get that wrong at the beginning? I think I got that wrong at the beginning. You know what? I was looking at the wrong data. My bad. When I said his close hard punch was 5 and his hard kick was 6, my mistake. Close hard punch is 4, close hard kick is 5. Novice error. Terrible. Anyways, Yes, the light power wave is much, much better on blocks. If you want to cancel into a power wave in someone's face, make sure you're using the light one, okay? Just as a point of reference, let's go set this to one guard jump. Let's see. Okay. Notice that the Terry that was defending gets to jump first, but notice how, like, closely the red Terry jumps, okay? Even this has technically 1 frame of disadvantage, okay? Your opponent can act 1/60th of a second before you. That's way better than the Fierce one. The Fierce one is minus a bunch more. According to the data I'm looking at, -9. Don't use the hard punch power wave when you're in your opponent's face. So you might say, well, Juice, what about EX? Well, what about EX? EX is a special little devil. Okay? The EX one is slower than the light one, but it has 3 hits on it, goes forever, and grants pressure if you can get your opponent to block it. Okay? Okay? If you can get your opponent to block this, okay, what's going to happen is they're going to be stuck in block stun for 3 hits. So you can absolutely use that to try to mix them up. Okay, like another thing you could do is you could go for a possible cross-up. Okay, so you can try to cancel into EX Power Wave to try to continue the pressure, okay? This works at close range, okay? You can cancel into the EX Power Wave and try to go for something. That's one thing you could do. But another thing that you could do is you could try to make them land in it, okay? There's a concept, I won't say the T word, some people don't like it, but there is an idea that when you're in the air, when you land, you cannot block for a certain amount of time, okay? And in King of Fighters, how this works is, if you jump at all, then on the 1 frame that you land, you cannot block no matter what you do. Just to show you, I'm going to demonstrate. Look at my recording. Look at the input display here. Notice the instant that I jump, I started to hold down back. So as soon as I hit the ground, I'm holding down back, which means I should be able to crouch block. But if you actually time an attack so that they land on it, they cannot block it. Okay? So with this in mind, this is something that Power Wave is really good for. If you predict that your opponent might jump, you can try to throw out an EX Power Wave. And if they land in it, there's nothing that they can do about the combo afterwards. Okay? If they land in this, they cannot block it. And that means that you're going to be able to get a free combo. Woo! Okay, so EX Power Wave can be used at close range to try to continue pressure. It can be used in the mid and far ranges to try to predict jumps, and that can get you offense. And if they do manage to block it, then you can still run forward and get something for that blocked EX Power Wave. It has a lot of utility, and it's where a lot of your meter is going to go. Okay, let's see here. Power Wave! Let's see. It should also be said you can combo into any of the the light and the hard power waves. So if you're gonna combo into a power wave, go for the hard one for the knockdown. Knuckle. All right. Let's see. Next is the Knuckle. Okay, as cool as this move is, you want to make sure you restrict the use of this move. This is not the greatest move in the world, but it is pretty good at one very specific thing, okay? I want you to try to keep in mind this range, okay? This is a really, really good range for you to be from your opponent. And the reason is because at this range, if you hit with just the tip, of the light version of the Burn Knuckle, this is not only going to be good on hit, but this is also going to be safe on block, okay? The reason I need to point that out is because when you're in your opponent's face or anywhere near them, this is terrible on block. Your opponent is going to jump way before you, and they're going to get a full punish. This is also true of the hard punch version, okay? It's absolutely terrible, okay? So, what you can do with the light Burn Knuckle is you can space it. If you're not sure what I mean by space, is if you use it from a certain distance so that only the tail end of the move connects instead of the first part of the move, then the frame disadvantage is different. Okay? Notice when I do the light Burn Knuckle in his face, notice when he jumps. The dummy is set to jump as soon as possible after blocking. Notice that my knee is in his face, right? Now notice what happens when I space this. My knee is no longer in his face, and now I jump and I recover much closer to when my opponent recovers, okay? If you space this, not only is it going to be safe on block, but it's going to be really good, like it's going to be really scary for your opponent to be at this spacing. If you're standing here the entire time, and your opponent moves forward and you move back, not only can you anti-air jumps with EX Power Wave and react to a lot of hops with standing hard punch, okay? Not only can you stop a lot of aerial assaults from this range, but, oh, and let's not forget forward A, that also works at this range. You know, but on top of that, you could also go for a light Burn Knuckle if you're at that right spot. So you have a bunch of different ways of anti-airing your opponent at this particular range. Ironically, that's what Crack Shoot is for, and that's also what Rising Tackle is for, okay? So I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but Terry is very much a character that he is an anti-air powerhouse. He has an anti-air for every spacing. For every situation, he's got something. This includes his supers, okay? And I will get into that, but I just want you to know that that's the sort of character Terry is. Terry likes to stand right here and use Crack Shoot to occupy the airspace, standing hard punch to occupy the airspace, forward light punch to occupy the airspace, well-spaced light Burn Knuckle to occupy the airspace, yada yada, etc. Okay? I'll come back to that. But as far as Burn Knuckles go, don't use light Burn Knuckle any closer than here or you will get punished. Okay? From far away, it's also a decent preemptive anti-air. Say you think your opponent is going to jump for some reason from this range, light Burn Knuckle is a good thing to catch. Okay? This will even work if your opponent is trying to super jump. Oh, too early. Okay. You can try to even react to a super jump with a light Burn Knuckle. Oh, he super jumped. Go for it. You know, as far as what you can beat, you know, that's going to be based on timing, based on spacing, based on the character. Keep in mind, the thing about KOF is it's not about the move, it's about the timing and the spacing, okay? Doesn't matter how good a hitbox it is, if it's timed wrong, it'll lose, unlike other fighting games. So, that in mind. Woo, see, there it is. Different timing, different result. Okay? So you can use it to try to anti-air super jumps on reaction, but they have to be really far away. If they're any closer, your mileage may vary, and it's going to depend on their jump, okay? But here it's a really good ground poke, and over here it's decent to catch jumps preemptively, okay? Now the Fierce one is pretty much combos only, okay? As you saw, this is pretty terrible on block. But you might say, well, Juice, can you space the hard one? Well, if you're full screen, it misses. So let's get a hair closer. Even if you hit with the tail end of the move, it's still pretty terrible on block. In fact, it's still as bad as your worst light Burn Knuckle. So there's really no way for you to make the Fierce one safe, okay? It also has a big giveaway too. Terry looking like a capital X, alright? Terry gives it away when he's going to do the Fierce Burn Knuckle. You really don't want to use it a whole lot. This move is useful mostly for combos, okay? Particularly HD combos. I don't use it in the mid-range unless you really know for a fact that your opponent is going to be in the air when you get over there. Because then, it's a really surprising move and does good damage and is really annoying to deal with. But other than that, unless you are reading a jump and you know it's coming, don't use Fierce Burn Knuckle. Honestly, if you're reading a jump, just use Light Burn Knuckle, or use Forward A, or use Crack Shoot, or use Powered Geyser. Use other options. Fierce Burn Knuckle is usually just not worth the unsafeness. Okay? Now, that said, EX Burn Knuckle, heyo. EX Burn Knuckle is interesting, okay? Just like the other ones, if you use it too close, not much going on, it's going to be punishable. But at the if you're absolute full screen, then this is -1 on block, okay? -1, okay? So your opponent gets to act first, but it's such a small window that it doesn't end up mattering, okay? This can be used for a couple of interesting, like, things, I suppose. There's not going to be a lot of situations where you know you're going to be full screen, but you should know that it's possible to make this not unsafe, okay? But just like the Fierce Burn Knuckle, overall, its use is mostly going to be relegated to combos. Okay, and just in case you're curious, I'll show you the invincibilities. There's no invincibility low on EX Power Wave. No invincibility low on EX Burn Knuckle either. Let's try high invincibility. None on EX Power Wave. None on EX Burn Knuckle, okay? So neither of these moves are invincible. Don't try to wake up with them. You'll just get punched in the face. Okay. Next we've got the Crack Shoot. This move, honestly, what this move is good for is what most characters jumping CDs and other jumping normals are good for. This is honestly his best air-to-air, okay? You know how I said I use jumping light kick and jumping CD as air-to-air a lot? Well, that's true, but I honestly use Crack Shoot a bit more, okay? And you want to keep in mind that they have different angles on them. Okay, specifically, let's go ahead and look at this again. Specifically, the Fierce one is just a little bit slower on startup, okay? The light one is faster, okay, but the Fierce one is a little bit slower, and what this means is, if you want to have a quick air-to-air, you want to use the light one more often than the Fierce one, okay? The Fierce one does have a couple of weird extra hits on it that you can use in HD mode, and my 2-bar corner combo tries to use those extra hits, so I'll certainly show you those. But for the most part, you're going to be using the light one to try to air-to-air people. What's the best range to do it? At this spot. This is the sweet spot for Terry. You want to be standing here as much of the match as possible, unless you know your opponent's going to block, then you can go in, okay? But right here, okay, right here if your opponent jumps forward, and it doesn't matter which jump it is, if your opponent jumps forward, they're going to hit by Crack Shoot. Okay? Okay, now what if they full jump? What if they full jump? You're still going to catch him. It still has a great air-to-air hitbox. What if they super jump? What if I'm standing at this nice spot and they super jump? It's still going to catch. Alright? This honestly reaches high enough, it's going to catch every single jump in the game. Like, I'm pretty sure it'll catch even Raiden. It might, well, maybe it won't catch Raiden. Raiden has the highest jump in the game as far as I know. But quite honestly, if you think your opponent's going to be in the air, throw out a light Crack Shoot. What's the worst that can happen? You might say, well, how bad is it on block, Juice? Well, let me show you, okay? This, I'm going to do this in reverse here. Okay? Because you need to see that this is one of those weird things that varies. Okay? If you block a Crack Shoot standing, then you as the defender get to go first. Okay? This is the light Crack Shoot, by the way. If you block it crouching, though, then you both get to act at the same time. This is really, really important if you're fighting against Terry, okay? If you have trouble with Terry players who keep going into Crack Shoot on block, what you need to know is you need to stand to block them. Because if you stand up and block, this lets you act sooner, and if you two get into a mashing war and you both hit your fastest normal, and you stood up and block it, you're probably going to win. Whereas if you crouch blocked and got into a mash war, there's a good chance either the Terry player is going to win or you're going to trade, okay? So with that in mind, you want to make sure you are stand blocking Crack Shoots on reaction whenever you have that possibility and that reaction time, because it's going to make it's going to make the situation after you block the crack shoot easier to deal with. Well, Juice, what about the hard kick version? Is it different? Yes, but not really. Okay. Again, if you stand block it, you get to act 1 frame sooner. Okay. So both the light and the hard crack shoot are -1 if you stand up and block it. Did I get that right? It was -1, right? Okay. No, okay, I got that wrong. What was it? Yeah, the light one is going to be a little worse than -1. This looks like -3, maybe -2. It's tough to say. Let's see, what does the frame data say? The frame data says it depends. Oh man, yeah, the frame data doesn't have this completely listed. Okay, let's see here. Okay, but the hard kick version is going to be -1 if you stand block it. But what if you crouch block it? Okay, if you crouch block it, the hard kick crack shoot actually has advantage for the attacking Terry. You need to make sure you stand up and block crack shoots. Otherwise, the Terry player will get to do something after you block that crouching. So if you are a Terry player, what you want to do with crack shoot, in addition to trying to air with the light version, the other thing you want to do is once in a blue moon, say you got your opponent crouching and block stun, right? Once in a blue moon, try to cancel into a crack shoot and see how they block it. See how they block it. If they block that crouching, go for something. If they block it standing, understand that maybe they know your opponent, maybe they know Terry, and maybe they know the tricks, and that you have frame disadvantage and you need to be thinking about something else, okay? And just to move forward with that mind game just a hair, let's go ahead and set the dummy to do something here. Okay, I'm gonna block this crack shoot and I'm gonna try to mash. Okay, I'm trying to mash, and like even if I hit my fastest standing normal, which in Terry's case is close hard punch, even if I stand up and let go of the stick and hit close hard punch, it's still not gonna be fast enough because of the frame advantage on the hard kick crack shoot. So if the Terry player likes to do things here, you're gonna want to try reversaling there. Now the point of me showing you this is I want you as the attacking Terry to understand that you have time to actually beat the defending player's option as well. So, let's do this one more time. If your opponent actually stand blocks, and then they try to hit buttons after they block because they know about the frame disadvantage, believe it or not, you have enough time during the crack shoot to charge a rising tackle, which means you can always say, no, you can't hit that button right there, I'm just going to rising tackle through it. All of these things with the standing and the crouching and the frame advantage, as much as I'd like to believe that they're not terribly important at lower and intermediate levels, what you do after a crack shoot on block will have a lot of, factor in how well you do with Terry. Because you're going to be using crack shoots in the mid-range quite often if you're trying to air, okay? Normals are really nice, but the thing about crack shoot is you get something better if you get the crack shoot. You're going to be trying crack shoot because if you land a crack shoot and they're in the air, you're going to be able to combo off of it as long as they're not too high in the air. Oh, that one doesn't work. So you have an opportunity to score big damage without spending any drive meter if you can get an air-to-air crack shoot. Now let me just demonstrate that this does not work if they're too high in the air. That wasn't high enough. There we go. This won't always work, and doing a level 2 won't help either. Okay. Nor will doing the other one. Or the other one. Or the other one. Okay. If you hit them too high with an air-to-air crack shoot, you're not going to get anything. Okay. So there's no point in waiting. The point is the light crack shoot only has a half juggle state on it. When I say half juggle, what I mean is they're only in a juggle state for a certain amount of time. If you hit them high in the air, the juggle state runs out before they come to your face level. But if you hit them low in the air, as is demonstrated here, if you hit them low in the air, then they're still in that juggle state as they're coming down, as you've recovered, and you can add supers onto it. Okay? It should also be said that it doesn't have to be a super. If you hit them low enough, you can just hit hard punch. Woof! That was a lot of time on just light and hard crack shoot, but you need to understand how to use that at various ranges. Otherwise, there's a lot of things with Terry that you won't be able to counter. Crack shoot is very important to his game plan. Okay? What about EX? Well, glad you asked. The EX version you can combo into for a really, really nice hard knockdown. Okay? And there's things you can do with that knockdown. You can try to, say, back up and set up a cross-up or something. Okay? This is also one of the very few moves that combos off of standing light kick. So if you like to use standing light kick in your strings, you can absolutely use EX crack shoot to turn it into some damage. Woof! Look at that cross up. Okay, so you can use it as a knockdown tool, particularly if you like using standing light kick as a combo tool. But another thing you can use it for, let's try it on Wake Up, shall we? Okay, it doesn't actually have any invincibility on Wake Up. Okay, something else you want to know. Okay, no high invincibility, no low invincibility. Okay, so outside of combos, you could try to you could really try to bulldog somebody like in the air-to-air game. Like if you predict a jump and you don't want to go for the light crack shoot, maybe you could go for EX. But honestly, Terry has enough anti-airs as it is. I'll be honest, I personally don't use EX crack shoot a lot. I like to save that meter for combos involving the super. Okay, I like to save that meter for combos involving his supers, okay? But for the most part, I only use it in combos with the standing light kick, because it's one of the few moves that actually combos off of standing light kick, okay? But the last thing that I had forgotten to mention, and it just crossed my mind, is that it actually is an overhead, okay? So if you set them to crouch and guard, notice that they don't block the jump-ins, but they do block the lows. Okay, so the crack shot is an overhead. So you can absolutely try to cancel. You can try to cancel, okay, into it from a string, and if your opponent is low guarding too much, then you can absolutely get that knockdown and go into something off of it. Okay, another thing you could do if it actually hits is you could go for what's called the ambiguous roll mix-up. Red Terry, is he going to end up on the left or on the right? Because you're wrong. Left or right? Aha! Okay, you can try to time your roll so that when they get up, they don't know if you'll be on the left or right. And then, when that happens, go low again, and if they block the incorrect way, you can get a combo. plenty of things you can do off of that EX crack shot. Because they're knocked down for so long, you can set up almost anything you want. Okay, but it's an overhead, and it knocks down. You can combo into it from a bunch of things. Okay. I honestly don't use it a whole lot, but you might have more use for it. Depends on your style and how you like to spend meter. Okay. Last but not least, we have the Rising Taku. Okay, so as some of you may have guessed, this is his invincible wake up move, but there is the different versions of them do matter, and I'll show you. Okay, what you need to know is that the light punch rising tackle isn't fully invincible for very long, okay? In fact, I'm not even certain if it's actually fully invincible. I think it might only be low invincible. I have to find a conclusive test for this. Okay, obviously that beat the standing hard punch, but there's something about different attacks that makes light rising tackle just straight up lose, okay? You want to keep in mind that the light rising tackle, even though it has a tiny bit of invincibility on it, is not as reliable as the fierce version for actually beating stuff. But the throw off of that, the trade-off is, the fierce one is slower on startup. Because it's slower on startup, that means it's possible for them to time their jump such that your fierce tackle doesn't come out in time. And that's something that's really, really dangerous and something that you have to deal with. But fortunately, the EX Rising Tackle takes care of that. Because the EX Rising Tackle is fully invincible and is faster on startup than either the light or the hard. Okay? It also has a bigger hitbox on it. I want you to notice something here. If you do this combo into a Rising Tackle, they both miss. But the EX does not, because the EX has a wider hitbox on it. So, right here, the Fierce Tackle and the Light Tackle are going to miss. But the EX will not, and it has this vacuum effect of sucking people in. Okay? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but what do I care? He's upside down. The EX Rising Tackle is going to be overall your most reliable reversal and the second most likely place that you're going to be spending meter, okay? EX Power Wave and EX Rising Tackle are where I end up spending a lot of my meter when it comes to EX moves, okay? Just because it's much more reliable than the other Rising Tackles. But the Fierce one is invincible on startup fully, okay? It's just slow. The light one can be beat, but it's faster, okay? And of course the EX is the best of all the worlds. It's fast, and it's fully invincible, and it's even better, okay? Let's see. So now we can get into his super moves. What we've got here is the Power Geyser! This super is two things. So this super is his best damage for a bar without spending a drive. Okay? Just take my word on it for now. When I get to the combo section, I'll show you that it's his best damage without spending a drive. When it comes to one stock, that's going to be your best damage. Okay? And when it comes to two stocks, that's also going to be your best damage. Heyo. Okay. Now, what it's actually used for in the context of a match, this is a really good anti-air on reaction to full and super jumps. Okay? If your opponent does a full or a super jump, any of the non-hop jumps, and you're buffering quarterback right here, might be able to see it fast enough to try to get that power geyser out fast enough, okay? Now, it's really, really tough to actually react to this, like, in the context of a match, but it's feasible, okay? And it's something that upper-level Terry players absolutely do. And you can use level 1, or you can use level 2. As long as they fall into the big graphical splash, as long as they fall somewhere in there at a good angle, you're going to be getting all 3 hits of the EX version, or the 1 hit of the regular version. Okay? Now, that in mind, it's really, really tough to react with this motion. Quarterback, half forward, okay? It should be noted that it's written kind of weird. It's written as quarterback, down back, and then immediately forward. I can barely even do that motion exactly. I've also noticed that when I try to do that motion exactly, I often don't get the super, okay? So what you can think about this motion is, this super, you can do just the same as the quarterback, half circle forward supers that almost every other character has. You know, quarter one direction, half the other. You can use that motion for power geyser. You don't have to do it weird as it's written. You could just do this. Okay? Just the basic super motion that a bunch of other characters have. Now, this super motion has shortcuts and different variations, which means you can try to use this when you're trying to anti-air. Case in point. Okay? Another way that you can do a power geyser instead of the way that it's written is like this. You can input quarterback, quarterback, so quarterback twice, then hit forward and hit punch. Okay? This may be easier or harder for you, okay? Say you're trying to anti-air someone. Say you did a quarterback and you see them jump. It may be easier for you to do a half circle forward and hit punch, but it may be easier for you to just buffer a lot of quarterbacks, and as soon as you see them jump, just hit forward and punch. Okay, so that's another really good thing you can do with the power geyser. Try to use that alternate super motion and buffer quarterbacks. Notice the range I'm standing at. This range, this range, this range. Notice this range I'm standing at right here. Buffer quarterback like this. Okay, if you keep doing this, eventually you'll get out of range. But if you see them jump, then don't backdash like I just did. But if you time it right, just press forward and punch, you'll get that power geyser and you'll knock them out of a full jump, okay? In fact, if you're fast enough and they hop, you can still do this. Okay? Okay? It's doable. This game is really fast. Those are the sorts of reaction times we're talking about if you want to be a really, really good Terry player. At a lower level, though, if your reaction time isn't that great, this super move you're mostly only going to use in combos. But as your reaction time improves, you can absolutely try to anti-air with it. Okay? It should also be said, of course, you can spend 2 bars on this by hitting both punches, in which case it does 3 hits and does 360 damage. Now the level 1 power geyser does have a little bit of invincibility on it, as evidenced. Okay, it has a little bit of invincibility on it, so you could go through something. But the issue is that it's so slow on startup. Most moves that they, like, let's say they just attacked you with like just a crouching jab. When you get up, their jab is going to recover before that geyser comes out. So in this case, level 1 geyser, even though it is an invincible wake-up move, oftentimes it's too slow to actually hit the opponent, and then your opponent can actually punish you. So don't wake up with the level 1 power geyser unless you really think they're going to do something slow and stupid. Okay? The EX version, though, is faster. As you can see, the EX version actually hit with the opponent, even though he only did a crouching jab. Okay? But you'll also notice that only did 2 hits at that range, okay? If you're too close, this actually misses one of the hits. Okay? So what you want to make sure... So there's honestly a negative there's a negative aspect to waking up with either Power Geyser. If you wake up with the level 2, you're leaving 120 damage on the table even if it does hit, because you're missing one of the 3 hits. That sucks. But it is faster on startup, so it's more feasible. However, the level 1 is too slow to actually hit people that are rushing you down competently. So you need to make sure, you know, if you do want to wake up with one, that they're at the right spot so that you can actually use it. Ah, crap. Same deal. Let's do that way. Oh, didn't even do it. Excellent. Okay. You know what? This is a terrible example. There we go. Knuckle. It's a fire geyser. Heyo. Alright, so that's Power Geyser in a nutshell. It's also pretty good in a bunch of combos, and I'll show them to you. I'll show you some of the combos that I use. Next we have Buster Wolf. I missed when he said, "Are you okay?" But regardless, this is going to be a common combo ender for you, but there's another aspect to it. I want to get into its match use first. Remember this range I was talking about? The level 1 Power Geyser is pretty fast on startup when we're talking about a mid-range sort of option, and this actually can be a pretty decent anti-air move. Okay, keep in mind how tall Terry is. This is more or less a burn knuckle, but it's much faster than a burn knuckle. Okay, what I mean by that is it's going to be unsafe if they block it, but it's going to have a higher reward if they don't. Okay, this can beat a lot of jumping normals, but it comes down to, again, just like all the other anti-airs in the game, timing and spacing. But the timing and spacing that you can beat a jump in with a Buster Wolf is actually pretty lenient. Okay, so just like you can stop jumps with forward A, just like you could stop jumps with a well-spaced burn knuckle, just like you could stop jumps with crack shoot, just like you could stop jumps with standing C, just like if they jump they could fall in an EX power wave, just like if they jump you could do a rising tackle of the fiercer EX versions, just like if they jump you could react with a Power Geyser. Whew! Also, if they jump you could react with a Buster Wolf. You see where I'm going with the thought process of an anti-air character? This guy's like Cody in Alpha 3. He's just got anti-airs for everything. Okay. The level 2 version, faster and better. And more damage, of course. Okay, let's check it on Wake Up, shall we? Buster Wolf! Okay. Level 1 is invincible. And level 2 is also invincible. Okay. Beats mids, beats lows. Let's check highs, shall we? Oh, here we go. This is the weakness of the Buster Wolf. Okay? It is actually not, ironically, high invincible for, it's not invincible for very long, okay? If you're going to wake up with this, you want to make sure that they're going to be doing a meaty attack, okay? It's possible for this to lose. But the level 1 version has only a little bit of invincibility on it. In fact, it's not even a whole lot. You see that? You see the situation in the mid-range? Your goal, if you're going to try to anti-air with a Buster Wolf, is to catch them while they're in the air, not while they're coming down. Okay? So in addition, you can buffer quarterbacks and anti-air with a Power Geyser, but you can also buffer quarter forwards, and as soon as you see that jump, if you press a kick, there's a good chance you're going to be able to beat every hopping normal in the game if you can just time it right, okay? It often comes down to the timing. Now what about the level 2? Okay. Okay. Let's go with this. Okay. The level 2, so far as I'm aware, has a little bit more invincibility than the level 1. Okay? If we take the same dummy recording and did the level 1, notice it would get beat. Okay? But on the level 2, it does not. So the level 2 seems to me, it just seems to me, in the words of George Carlin, just seems to me to have a little bit extra invincibility to help you beat the stuff that you really need to. If you're trying to anti-air with a Buster Wolf and you keep running into stuff and you get counter hit, try level 2. Bet you it won't happen. I can bet you. But other than that, that's pretty much it. That's what his supers are for, and you can EX both of them for extra damage and utility. And last but not least, we got his Neomax. Yo, bird! Okay. Few things I need to say about this. Let's start with the wake up, shall we? It's not invincible. Yo, slap. Oh no! Terry's head exploded. Alright. Alright. Woo! Okay, so it's not invincible. It's only for combos, okay? It really is only for combos, okay? Now, if you look at the move, animation-wise, it creates a really big Power Geyser, or should I say series of Power Geysers. So you might say, hey, is this a good anti-air? Well, let's check, shall we? Let's try super jumps first and let's work our way down. Well, you'd be right. It actually is a pretty decent anti-air if you can react properly to a full jump sort of situation. Full and super jumps should be similar. The only difference is going to be the spacing between you. See that? And you're going to be getting about 3 hits worth if you do that. Okay? This can work as an anti-air, but it's on that level of you have to be really fast and you have to be able to react, like with a Power Geyser. It's on that level of speed. If you have trouble anti-airing with a Power Geyser, I don't recommend trying to anti-air with the Neomax, okay? But it's about that same speed, okay? But it is feasible to use as an anti-air. Now, in combos, particularly in after particular combos, say in the mid-screen, is when it's going to be used best. Okay? I'm going to show you a quick HD combo here and show you how much damage this does. Okay. Now, as far as this combo goes, if you looked really close, if you looked really closely, you might have noticed that that Neomax actually hit 4 times. okay? Terry's Neomax has an outstanding damage potential if you can get it to juggle and get 4 hits, okay? This is a 4-bar HD combo that is practically a kill combo. If I add a jump in, this will kill, okay? But it comes down to, can you land all 4 hits of that Neomax? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. See that? I got 4 hits of that Neomax and this became a kill combo. This is a good 4-bar HD for you to know. Keep that in mind. Okay? So, that said, as far as actually landing that 4th hit in the Neomax, it has to do with their height in the air, what you combo into it with, etc., etc. People who know Terry a bit more than I do, I'm not actually that great of a Terry player, might be able to give you more information. Keep in mind, these tutorials are not exactly the most advanced things. I'm not trying to tell you everything about Terry. I'm just trying to tell you what you need to know to play Terry at a competent level, okay? Getting that 4th hit of Neomax, I'll be honest, I don't know exactly how to do it, but I know on this combo, it's probably going to happen. So take this one, okay? But, if you're too close to the corner, guess what happens to this Neomax? 1, 2, if you're close to the corner and you activate this, you can still combo into it, but you're not going to get anything afterwards, and yeah, you're only going to get 1 or 2 hits. Sucks, okay? It's one of the more strict Neomaxes in the game to combo into, because if they don't have a lot of space, and they're not at a particular juggle height, you're not really going to be getting all the damage that you really want, okay? But you can try, if you're really fast, to anti-air with it. But other than that, and besides very specific spacings and juggle combos, usually involving HD, you're probably not going to get much other use out of the Neomax, okay? If you're a lower level player, you have trouble with that reaction time, have trouble with HD combos, don't use this Neomax, because it honestly isn't that great, okay? Those are the 2 reasons to use it. Get the 4 hits on the HD, or use it as an anti-air if you're super fast. Other than that, stay away. 39.5-foot pole. Don't even touch it. Alright. So, now that I've covered what all his moves do, let's put it together. I more or less covered this earlier on. Okay, I started to get into this because I just couldn't wait. This range right here, take the start of the round and back up a hair. This range is an excellent range for you to be at for most of the match, okay? This is a range you want to try to occupy with Terry. At this range, you have, let me count the ways. You have a safe light burn Knuckle. You have a light crack shoot, which if they move forward whatsoever, they're going to get hit by or block, and if they jump forward, you have a possibility of getting combos. Okay, and that's the light crack shoot. If you use the hard version, you'll actually reach. It goes just a hair further. Okay? You got crack shoot options. You've got burn and knuckle options. Oh yeah, you've got the maximum range of Fierce Power Wave. This is the maximum range of Fierce Power Wave. Okay? That range you want to be at, it's right here. If they stay on the ground, throw Power Waves at them. If they jump at you, crack shoot them. Really, really simple stuff, okay? Another thing you can do, hit forward A. Walk forward a hair and hit forward A. You'd be surprised. Boom, slap. This range is great for that. Prevents them from moving forward, okay? At this range, another thing you could do is charge. While you're charging, just well, you know what, I'm charging, but I'm going to do a quarter forward let out a power wave at max range. Oh, they want to jump? Rising Taku. Okay? So if you're charging, you've got an anti-air. If you're standing, you've got this, and this, and let's see, what else? What do we got? We got this, preemptive anti-airs. Anti-airs before they jump. Hit that button, or do the special before they jump, and they will run into it, and you'll get that anti-air. He's also got reaction anti-airs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, Hop D isn't really a reaction. That's overboard. But 5. Seriously, you got 5 reaction anti-airs. 1, 2, 3. Use a different normal depending on standing A and standing C. Not much of a difference. If you're at this range, if you're at the good spot, standing C is going to beat almost everything. Okay? Again, it's going to come down to the character, to the spacing and the timing, but standing C will almost never let you down. If standing C is letting you down, try a neutral hop into a D or a CD, or, better yet, Woo! Beat it clean. If that doesn't beat it clean, then spin the other bar. Beat it clean. Okay? If you're really fast, woo! Beat it clean. Alright? Terry's got anti-airs for days. Preemptive and reactive. Using all of them makes your opponent really, really not want to jump. And if they don't want to jump in KOF, you know what happens? You can jump in. Whew! That is how you play Terry, okay? By the way, that's a good HD combo for you to know that only costs 2 bars, okay? If you're standing right here, you have a gigantic area of influence. That whole area in front of the gray colored Terry Bogard. You can occupy that entire space with this special, with that special. By charging, you can discourage the jump. Even if you're not charging, you can still react to and discourage the jump. And this is in addition to the fundamental concepts like standing normal anti-airs, neutral jump normals anti-airs, preemptive anti-air by jumping in. Like, he has every single possible tool for keeping you out of the airspace. Using this, keep them out of the airspace, okay? If they jump a lot, convert on it. Get the combos if you do land those crack shoots, okay? If you get a counter hit CD, okay? Say you jump at them with CD and you're lucky enough to get that counter hit. It won't work on the dummy. Let's do it this way. If you're lucky enough to get that counter hit, convert off of that counter hit. There's things you can do. Whew. He always fixes his hat when he goes upside down. You know, like, you have all the tools you could possibly want to make them want to not jump at you. It's just a matter of learning to get accustomed to the speed of King of Fighters. If you're playing King of Fighters at King of Fighters speed, and not other 2D fighting game speed, then you should be able to react to their jumps, and you can keep them out of the airspace, okay? Not 100% of the time, okay? If your opponent, you know, moves around, has good fundamentals, it might be tough for you to anti-air them all the time. Particularly, Terry isn't the fastest runner in the game. His backdash isn't the greatest in the game. His movement isn't as good as some of the other characters, but that's because he doesn't need it as much, okay? He doesn't need it as much because he has all the airspace occupied with his various special moves, okay? Occupy that airspace, and what'll happen? Your opponent will start blocking. If they start blocking, let one of these rip. That's number one. Oh, by the way, I forgot. If your opponent jumps, let one of those rip anyway. They might land in it. If they trade, but they land in it, doesn't matter. Just to demonstrate. Say you're at that awesome sweet spot range. And you're not late. Oh, God. Okay, if they try to attack you at the wrong spot, and you call it, and you do the EX Power Wave at the right timing, they will land in it. And that's exactly what you want. Okay? See? Right, that was exactly what I wanted. Sometimes they'll jump in on you when you do the EX Power Wave, and sometimes they'll hit you, but the Power Wave will still come out, and you get all the cool stuff. Rock shoot. Alright. You got options. Ankle biter projectile. Indeed. Alright. So, they're blocking now. This is the other Terry. Oh, God! I don't want to jump in at you. You're just occupying all the airspace. Oh, God, I don't know what to do. Oh, God, I tried to tell my aunt about this up in Brooklyn. Oh, she wouldn't believe it. I'm telling you, when your opponent starts to block, and they don't know what to do because they want to stay out of the airspace, you got two options. Throw that EX Power Wave, get in there. Or, don't throw the EX Power Wave, and just get in there. Jump in, okay? Jump in or run in. And this is all just fundamentals at this point. Okay? You just run forward, and you do all the fundamental stuff. You've got frame traps after one poke, you've got run forward into normal throw, you can go for cross-ups. If your opponent is acting really defensive, okay, let's say you're at this range, you're throwing stuff out, and your opponent is scared to actually jump at you, okay, then you could probably super jump from this range, and actually get something. Okay? If your opponent is scared of your anti-air and air-to-air game, then they will not be moving forward. Take advantage of that and move forward. That is the key in KOF. You're welcome to play defensively. That's honestly fine. Playing defensively can work. If you know how they're going to try to approach you, you can get big damage if you call something, especially with a super. But if you don't call something with a super, the best damage you're going to get is maybe a normal, okay? Terry has a nice medium range, okay? Terry has a nice medium, okay? Because if you actually anti-air someone with a crack shoot, you're going to get good damage, and crack shoot is relatively low risk. Relatively low risk. You can still get good damage if you do the Buster Wolf afterwards. But for most characters, if you try to play defensively, the best damage you're going to get may be an uppercut, maybe a normal, but barely 100 damage at a time. And if your opponent lands one jump in King of Fighters 13, how much damage are they going to get? 300, 400 with a bar, 500 with a bar and a drive, 600, 700, 800, 900 with HD? If I know that you're going to anti-air me 4 times, but then you're going to fail the 5th time, then I'm going to jump 5 times. You better believe it. And that's how this game works, and that's why it rewards offense. And that's why defensive play never works out in the risk-reward, okay? It is fine for you to play defensively if you are making those predictions. I think he's going to hop, so I'm going to buffer this so I can beat it. I think he's going to full jump, so I'm going to buffer this so I can beat it. I think he's going to run up, hesitate, and then hop, so I'm going to neutral jump a bit to try to discourage that. That's fine. But if you turtle in KOF, and you guess right 8 times, it doesn't matter if you guess wrong on the 9th time, and he knows how to do an HD combo. Just keep that in mind, okay? It's really important that you don't play over-defensive, and Terry is one of the characters that has the tools to do so. You could definitely play more defensively with Terry than you can with other characters because of how it is in the air. What you need to do is make sure that you have a competent offense. That will make your opponent scared of your offense and your defense. Then you will be a complete and utterly scary Terry player. Okay? Have the fundamentals. Okay? Now, there was something about his crouching normals which I forgot to mention, which you do need to know before I get into the combo section. He has a target combo. Okay? If you hit crouching light punch into crouching hard punch, there's a lot of different timings where it'll come out anyway. Okay? This is not a link, but a chain. Just the same as how you hit down forward hard punch right here, and it's really easy. You can hit crouching hard punch after a crouching light punch, and this is really easy. And it's exactly the same as a regular crouching hard punch, and you can cancel stuff into it. I'm ashamed of myself for forgetting it, but you need to know this as I move into the combo section. Okay? So, let's say you land a crouching light kick. What can you do? Here's a super basic one. Hey! Only $1.99. Knuckle! You have 4 attacks. I see a lot of Terry players using 3. You have 4 attacks to work with. Okay? Feel free to use any 3 crouching pokes you want. Just make sure the 3rd one is a crouching light punch. You could do 3 crouching light punches, or you could do 2 crouching light kicks into a light punch, or 1 and then 2 crouching light punches. Okay? As long as you have your 3rd poke as a crouching light, you can chain into the crouching hard and go into a combo. Nice and easy. Okay? So, that's one thing you could do. Now, what if you land a close hard punch? Do the combos change, okay? Honestly, crouching hard punch, close hard punch, and the down forward hard punch all grant the same combos, okay? What you could do, you could try to combo into a crack shoot if you want. Okay? You can actually combo into the light version of the crack shoot. And if you actually hit them crouching with that, if you hit them crouching with this, it's still a combo, and you have a pretty nice amount of frame advantage there. And you can definitely use that for a nice frame trap or a rising tackle if you think they're going to fidget. Okay? Now, if you hit them with this standing, though, then you still have frame advantage, but not as much. So if you want to end the combo not in a burn knuckle, you could combo into a light crack shoot and get automatic frame advantage, and then you could, you know, try something else. Okay. Now, so you could combo into the crack shoot, okay? You can also combo into the power wave. You can combo to the fierce power wave for that knockdown. Notice that the damage on fierce power wave combo is 187, and the light knuckle is 199. Okay? If for some reason you prefer the knockdown on the fierce burn knuckle, go for it. On the first power wave, excuse me. It's not a big damage difference. Okay, but you can only combo into the light. See, light burn knuckle is a meterless combo. You got crack shoot. Remember how I showed you that the rising tackles don't combo here? Honestly, those are going to be your best combos off of a crouching light kick. Okay. Usually what I go for is the light burn knuckle. Okay. Let me turn the passive move on just to show you what to do afterwards. If this actually hits. Okay. You can run forward and you can get a meaty attack. You can force them to block an attack when they get up if you run forward and hit something. Okay. Another thing you could do if you do land a light burn knuckle is try to throw a light power wave. Okay. Throw it immediately, and they're gonna get up into it. Notice he blocks it as soon as he possibly gets up. This will make it so that he's forced to wake up blocking. And notice the range we're at. And is this ringing any bells? Is this ringing any bells? I hope so. Safe! Look at that! This crap writes itself. Look at that safe pressure. It's great. Alright. Alright. Let's see. Oftentimes I go for light crack shoot. If you really want to be more creative though and have a more offensive approach to comboing, combo into the light crack shoot and then go for some sort of mix-up afterwards, and you can keep going from that, okay? But meterless combo-wise, that's about it. That's about it. Okay, let's look at drive meter now, okay? The most common thing you're gonna see is when you go into a light burn knuckle, you can combo to a light crack shoot. After that, you can just hit hard punch, okay? Nice quick little combo there. But if you have a bar, you got a couple options. Your best damage off of that particular drive cancel is going to be EX Rising Tackle. Fierce doesn't work, neither does Light. But the EX, because of the extra size on that hitbox I was talking about, allows this combo. Woo! Hey! Let's see. You could also do this. Notice that the EX tackle combo is 378. Bust Wolf! That's 373. Which knockdown do you prefer? The thing about these, remember that the passive move is on here, okay? So the dummy is doing the quick recover. I want you to notice what happens if I use this combo. Notice where the other Terry goes. Okay? Notice how far away I knock him with this. Notice that even if you run at your opponent as soon as you can, they're far away from you when they get up. At this point, the other Terry player has already recovered. There's not a lot of ways I can force him to do anything. If I want to continue my offense, it's tough to do it after this combo. But if you use the Buster Wolf combo, it's not as hard. Okay. Okay. Believe it or not, it's really difficult to see, but you do get there just a hair earlier if you do use the Buster Wolf in the combo. But you do need to run as soon as possible, okay? Plus, if you put them in the corner with this, then you absolutely get to continue the pressure. Okay? If you do combo them to the corner with this, then you can combo into the Fierce Rising Tackle, and the damage is almost the same. Okay? Let's compare the damage from Fierce to EX. Fierce does 330. EX does 385. Okay, not about the same. 55 more. That's pretty substantial. But if you want to save that extra bar and you combo them to the corner with this combo, feel free to just do the regular hard Rising Tackle. It'll save you a stock, you know, unless you really want that extra 50 damage. You know, go for it. Okay? Now, what if I want to spend 2 bars on this drive cancel? Well, you might say, well, let's do this. And that's pretty good. That's 449 off the crouching light kick. But there's a better one. Geyser! It's only a little bit better, but it has a similar deal as I was talking about with the different combo enders before. Okay, on the EX Buster Wolf, you can maintain your offense. Ow, wait! Okay, and on the EX Rising Geyser, Power Taco, Crack Tackle. Oh man. Let's see. Honestly, you can maintain your offense either way. Buster Wolf is going to be easier for you to maintain your offense if you do want to maintain it, but the EX Power Geyser is going to be a little bit better damage, just a little bit. Crack soup. Alright. Let's see. So 2 bars in a drive, 1 bar in a drive, just a drive. That's quite a few combos. Juice, I don't want to spend any drive. I got no drive meter. What should I combo into? I'll tell you. You got no drive? This is tough to do, okay? But if you just have a bar, let me go over these in order of strength. Let's do the same confirm here. You could combo to an EX Burn Knuckle off of the Fierce for 267. But you could go to a level 1 Power Geyser for 307. You could also go to a Buster Wolf, but that's not 307. This is pretty tough, honestly, to go from down and then do the whole super off the crouching hard punch. With practice you can get it, and it's his best damage for 1 bar without spending drive. Okay. Now, in addition, what if you got 2 bars? 379. Nope. Woof! 427. That's almost 50 damage more. 329, 427, 427. 427 minus 316, crap. 427 minus 380 is 147. Is 47, so it's 48. Ah, mental math. It's 48 more damage. Haha. Algebraic! No, that wasn't even algebraic. Okay. Let's see. So yeah, if you want to spend bars but not drive, go to Power Geyser. That's gonna be your best damage. If you can't manage the Power Geyser combos execution-wise, need more practice, no problem, bro. Go to Buster Wolf. It's still pretty good. Okay. Now, all the math I've been doing, by the way. Excuse me, not the math. All of the combos I've been doing, I've been showing you from the crouching attacks. All of the exact same combos are possible if you do close hard kick into down forward hard punch or close hard punch into down forward hard punch. All of the same combos. All of them. Let's go with this. Same combo. Same combo. Oh, that didn't combo. Keep in mind, you cannot combo into the EX Power Wave, as far as I'm aware, because of the slow startup, but you can try to, you know, cancel into it if they block your stuff to try to maintain the pressure. But you can't combo into EX Power Wave. If you're really good at execution, this will be your tough Terry combo to learn. If you can do this, then your execution is very good, and you should be able to do most of the Terry combos that I've shown you. That is the tough stuff. That's probably the hardest combo that is actually usable. Outside of HD, of course. HD, I'm not quite there yet, but I'm about to get there. Okay. But all the same stuff you can do. Ew. Also, ironically enough, if you're close enough, you can do down C into down forward C, which is cool. And it's actually the same damage as close hard kick to down forward punch. That is so hard to do. Heyo! But you know, as ever, if you are having trouble comboing into the Power Geyser, don't be ashamed. You know, it's fine. This damage on the Buster Wolf is still really good. But if you want to be a top level, if you want to go to Evo and beat somebody whose last name you can't pronounce, okay, then you need, then something you want to think about, not need, something you want to think about is trying to combo into the Power Geyser, okay? Now, last but certainly not least, is Hyperdrive combos, okay? I showed you a 2-bar combo that is very useful because as long as, if they're in the middle of the stage, notice, I reset, this is the middle of the stage, if they're standing smack dab in the middle of the stage and you land any hit, you can go into a nice corner 2-bar combo, which is going to get you some nice chunky damage. They're in the middle of the screen. Rising Taku! Oh, dropped it. Whew. So that was a little over 700 for 2 bars, and that started with my 4-hit confirm here. Okay? If you start this from, say, a jump in, this is going to go over 800 damage. Okay? Now, you might have noticed after I went into HD, I did close hard kick into forward light punch. You might ask why. The reason is close hard kick does 70, and the close hard punch does 78 if you do both hits, but it does 2 hits. If you're unfamiliar with the concept of combo scaling, the more hits in the combo there are, the less damage each subsequent hit does. This continues in King of Fighters 13 until it gets to 5, 10, 15, 16 hits. Once you get to 16 hits, you've reached maximum scaling, and all the attacks are going to stop going down. There's a certain amount of damage for each attack that they will do damage-wise. After you've gotten to 16 hits, the scaling stops. It doesn't scale anymore, okay? But by using the close hard kick, it puts 70 damage into 1 hit instead of 78 damage into 2 hits, okay? Also, I use the forward light punch. Why don't I use the down forward hard? Well, because the forward light punch does more damage. Forward light punch is 70, down forward hard is 60. If we were to chain, notice the down forward hard does 57, and the forward light does 66. So this is always going to be your highest damage string to be using there, okay? That's why I go into that string. This combo does need a bit of explaining. Terry's drive cancels have a lot of error margin on them. Okay, I want to demonstrate something. Okay. I want you to notice I'm doing here a Fierce Burn Knuckle, and I'm going to drive cancel this into a Fierce Rising Tackle. Hey! Notice. Okay, let's go ahead and do this using the stage here. Let's put my back in the corner. He's as close as possible to me, right? Okay. I want you to notice where I can drive cancel this. Okay. I can drive cancel this right here. Try to take note of his foot. Notice where I am on the ground, okay? You can drive cancel at this point in the Fierce Burn Knuckle. But, on top of that, let's do this one more time. You can drive cancel this in a different range of timings. You can actually drive cancel it so late that you can miss. This is important because in his HD combos, you will very often be doing Fierce Burn Knuckles into Rising Tackles, and you will be doing EX Burning Knuckles into Rising Tackles. But what you need to know is that the Burning Knuckles can be drive canceled at different timings. There's a certain amount of time, okay, you can drive cancel now, and then there's a big window, and you can drive cancel anywhere in that window. If you want to do HD combos with Terry, I hate to say this, but his combos are very finicky on the timing. If you do the Rising Tackle at the wrong timing during certain Burn Knuckles, that can and does throw off the timing of the rest of the combo. There is an ability for you to try to edit that mid-combo, try to fix it, but that's not stuff that a beginner or even an intermediate player will be able to do. This is going to come down to how much practice you've put in and your ability to know the exact timing. Practice mode is your friend. Okay? So, what do I mean by that? Let me show you that 2-bar combo one more time. Wait a minute. Juice, last time you did that, you got 2 EX Burn Knuckles and it didn't miss. You're right. Do you know how? I'll give you a couple seconds. Can you think of a way to make that EX Burn Knuckle connect based on what we just learned? Well, what it comes down to is there is a range of drive cancel timing, so I can delay that Fierce Rising Tackle. When I delay that Fierce Rising Tackle the appropriate amount of time, this does not miss, but instead, I dropped the combo. But instead, they fall onto the top of the second EX Burn Knuckle. This is very important in Terry's HD combos, okay? This is the big thing that makes people drop his HD combos because they don't understand this concept. This is what you need to know to get his HD combos down pat. Whew! Okay? With that in mind, every single time you have to do a Burn Knuckle or a Rising Tackle or a Crack Shoot or something, you have to make sure with the Rising Tackles that you time them right or a lot of his combos will drop. That combo is what I recommend if they're at half screen or closer to the corner, even if they're a little out of half screen, like right here. This still works. Crack Shoot! Okay. Another thing to note about this combo is depending on the height and how many hits you get on the last Crack Shoot, notice that the last Crack Shoot is a hard kick version, okay? Depending on the height of where you do that Crack Shoot, remember how I said you can delay drive cancels during Burn Knuckles? Same deal. Delay the right amount of time. 3 hits. That time the Fierce Rising Tackle connected because I delayed it and they were a little lower. Okay? Remember, it causes a half juggle state. They're only in juggle period for a certain amount of time because they're lower because I delayed the hard Crack Shoot. I could land that hard rising tackle, power taco. So, that said, if you're not confident that you can get the timing on that, you can still always do this. If you think they're too high, just do a light rising tackle and that will always combo. Just not as much damage. But you've already done the majority of the damage in the combo, so it's really a very small price to pay. This is, what, $7.85 as opposed to... Oh crap. See? You can delay it so much you actually do it late. Make sure you time it right. Okay? But this will get over 800 damage if you do this perfectly. Four hits. If you time that hard crack shoot absolutely perfectly, you'll actually get 4 hits on the hard crack shoot. And if you do get 4 hits, you know you will have the right time for the Fierce Rising Tackle. That's the perfect version with the 4 hits. 813, have fun with that. Now the question becomes, well, what if they're not close enough for me to get that corner combo? Well, there's lots of variations, but I'll show you a 2-bar mid-screen that I like to use. Okay, this is what I like to use. It doesn't end in a combo ender per se, but it's reliable. Again, this comes down to your delay timings. This is a reliable combo that for 2 bars gets the maximum, gets as much damage as I can at the beginning with those EX burn knuckles, but it puts them into a reset state and then I'm at the perfect spacing one more time. And if I start this from the good string like this, it's going to do even more damage. Okay, let's say you actually get a jump in on this. Ha! Remember that special spacing I was talking about? Heyo! This is a 2-bar HD combo that can give you over 700 damage that puts you back at that spacing. Let's go! Okay, so it's if you're gonna be mid-screen, you have to learn how to do the cross-under combos with Terry. There are more examples of cross-under combos and more examples of HD variations in his trial mode. If you can do this combo, I guarantee you can do all of his trials. Okay? Well, most of the cross-under ones. Let's see. Honestly, that's a mid-screen 2-bar combo, and that is a corner 2-bar combo. That's pretty much it. That's all you really need to know. Just for fun, I'll show you a fun little 5-bar combo. If your back is in the corner and you have 5 bars, here's a fun one. So yeah, that not entirely practical because you need 5 bars, both drives, and a jump in, and your back is in the corner. But hey, it's 1,000 damage. It's fun to do. And if you got the 4th hit of the Neomax, you don't even need that EX burn knuckle. It's really fun to do. Anyway, there are plenty of variations on his mid-screen HD combos, most of which you can find in trial mode. Others you can find on YouTube. Don't forget to check the resources in the description. Okay? So, that said, I've given you a corner HD combo for 2 bars. I've given you a mid-screen combo for 2 bars. I don't like HDing with less than 2 bars unless I know I'm going to kill. And in that case, I mean, meterless HD, he's got one. But it's going to be really, really finicky for you to actually land it if you're mid-screen. Oh. I'll be honest, I don't really do his meterless stuff. He does have meterless stuff, but if you're not spending meter on your HD combo, it's not a whole lot of damage. Let's say you have... This is just a match consideration. Say you have a bar and both drives. And you land this string here. If you were to do a 1-bar HD combo, you may be able to get 550, 600, maybe 650 damage. Most characters are not going to break 100 for HD, excuse me. Most characters are not going to break 700 for 1 bar in Hyperdrive mode. Some characters are the exception, Takuma. But, you know, in Terry's case, he's not going to get a lot of damage if he HDs off of this, so a better thing to do is to simply combo into the 1 bar for just 300, or combo into the 1 bar and a drive. And look at my meter, by the way. I started with a bar and both HD. Now I've got just about half of both stocks. I've got a drive meter ready in case I get more meter. And 2 1 bar 1 drive combos together, what's 378 plus 378? That's gonna be 800 minus 44, which is 756. You know? That's gonna be much more reliable than getting that 1 bar 2 drive HD combo that you might not be able to land, especially if it's not even gonna do 750, okay? So that's pretty much it. Meter management with Terry. Don't HD unless you got the bars, because if you do got the bars, if you got 2 bars, especially, you got 2 bars and you're going to push him to the corner, double EX burn knuckle, and you're going to do a bunch of damage, okay? That said, that's just about the end of my Terry tutorial. That's, or should I say the quick and dirty. Remember, I'm not trying to teach you everything, just the important stuff. Did I forget anything? Did I forget anything? Let me try to think. Forget something. Hey! Oh, let me give you this tip. A lot of people have been asking about this. Juice, how do I cancel a rising tackle into his supers? I'll show you how to drive cancel from his tackle into his various supers. Okay, if you charge down, you can input, what you want to do is you can get into his supers by inputting a quarter and then going straight up. Okay? What happens if you do that is, then you can just do another quarter in the correct direction to get the combo you're looking for. Oops. Okay? If you input down, and while you have charge, input quarter back and then straight up and hit the punch, you'll still get the rising tackle. And then if you input a quarter forward punch, you'll get a geyser, because you just input a quarter circle back. This works the other direction as well. If you input a quarter forward and then hit up, you'll get the tackle. And then you could input another quarter forward to get the Buster Wolf. And if it's the exact same thing with Neomax, but obviously to cancel a special into Neomax, you have to be in HD mode. Nope. Got it wrong. Yo, bang! So that's how you can cancel his rising tackle into his combos. It's a common thing I've heard. People have trouble with his trial mode. That's how you do it. Okay? You might ask, well, Juice, why can't I Tiger Knee it? If you try to Tiger Knee, in other words, if you hold down and you try to go to up back, you will get a burn knuckle and you will never, ever, ever, ever get a rising tackle no matter how much you charge. If you are charging down, you need to hit one of the upward directions without hitting that quarter back. If you hit that quarter back, but then you hit up back, you will always get the burn knuckle. But because you need this quarterback, you absolutely need this quarterback in order to do this. Okay? Or if you have ridiculously fast hands, which not even I have, you could try to do a rising tackle and then do the whole super motion. Good luck. That's ridiculous. You don't need to do that. That's ridiculously fast, and if you're playing on a control pad, you're going to blister. Okay? It's not going to happen. Okay? So, buffer this early. Buffer this early, but don't screw it up. This will make the super more clean and lenient for you, okay? But you have to go quarterback, straight up. Quarter forward, straight up. Quarter forward, same thing happens. If you go up forward, you get the power wave. Okay? That's the quick input trick for you. So I've covered basically everything you need to know to play Terry. This one was just under 2 hours, thankfully. But that's pretty much it for this episode. It's Tuesday. I leave for Evo on Thursday. If you want to catch me playing KOF13, maybe hopefully commentating, who knows. It should be on one of the Evo streams. I believe King of Fighters is on the Evo 1 stream? I forget. Okay. But, you know, if you want to look up the King of Fighters 13 stream for Evolution 2013, please do. You might catch me on stream. I've got some fun, exciting matches. I'm going to play tons of casuals. Regardless of the result of the tournament, you know, I plan on learning a lot, teaching a lot, and just spreading that KOF love. It's about the familia. That's it. I do think I'm going to make top 32. That's what I think. I think I'm going to make at least top 32. So, that said, thanks a lot for watching, everyone. Hope you appreciated it. Hope that you are a much better Terry now. And thanks for watching, and there will be another episode coming. See you guys later.